Sure, you guys went small against their size. Ugo getting a lot of reps there against Karl Anthony Towns. What did you see that made you think that would be effective, and just the job that Ugo did?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's obviously a great player, and they got off to a great start. I think the Towns stuff, wasn't as big as I thought. Josh Hart got off to a great start in that game, and when something like that happens, it forces you to have to decide what you're going to do from an adjustment standpoint, and just leveraging what's on the other side of an adjustment like that. So I thought the guys did a good job staying poised and executing the game plan, and then Towns is going to score, so. We sent multiple guys at him, but I thought whenever we put Ugo in, he just did a good job of getting underneath him, just kind of being physical with him, and you saw just kind of the depth of our team throughout some of that game. And it started with Ugo, it finished with Josh and Jordan. Obviously, Jaylen was great. Derek and Peyton made some big time plays. Sam finished it there, so just really the depth of the team.
Yeah, to that end, you had Jordan making a lot of plays there in the fourth quarter as a roll man, making passes, he did a little bit of everything there. It seems like a big evolution for his game.
Yeah, it was an evolution for both Jordan and Josh. I mean, they went to doubling Jaylen, and so they did a good job catching the ball on the seam and just making 2-on-1 reads. So it starts with Jaylen's ability to trust his teammates, and then it goes to Jordan and Josh's evolution of just understanding they're being guarded by different matchups throughout the game. I mean, they switched between Towns, Robinson, and Brunson on both of those guys throughout the game, and it can be difficult to just have an understanding of what the screen is at that time, what the spacing is, and both those guys did a good job down the stretch of just kind of executing versus the proper coverage versus the proper spacing. So, the trust there by the team, and then the execution by those guys getting better.
Joe, Jaylen got off to a tough start in the first quarter. It seemed like he was kind of like clapping in his own face, trying to get himself back into it. And then he has this ridiculous run in the second and third. As someone who's known him for a long time and has coached him for a long time, when you see him get off to a start like that, you kind of know that he's going to turn it around? Or like, how do you even say anything to him? And when you then see the performance that he has, is it just kind of like...
I mean, I honestly didn't notice what you noticed, because I just don't pay attention to that. To me, it's a couple tough possessions, and you just... let him do his thing. So just communication throughout the game. But, a couple of tough possessions. But to me, he never wavers in the poise or the mindset that he has. So he does a great job of that regardless of how it's going on. I thought tonight he did a great job of just taking, what the defense gave him, but then also making plays for others. And, he played against 3 different coverages tonight. And I thought he was really good against multiple coverages there. So I kind of let him do his thing, and just really talk to him mostly about what the spacing's like, what the matchups like, what the coverages are like, what to expect, and he does the rest.
Joe, you mentioned Ugo like getting under Cat and really trying to go for steals and stuff like that. What about what you've seen from him defensively since he's gotten here allows him to play like that against Cat, but then immediately switch on to Brunson and guard him a different way?
He's got good defensive instincts, which most younger players don't have, and I think that just comes from being well coached and playing in a league where you have to play team defense, and you're constantly in rotations, you're in one-on-twos, you're physical at the point of attack. You have to really understand spacing. So, he's just been well coached and has played, high-level basketball for a long time. And I think that just gives him his defensive instincts, and he pays attention to detail and has an understanding of tendencies. So, like I said, he did a great job tonight, but I thought all those guys did a great job at different points of defending at the level that we need to try to be successful, and we left plenty on the table to get better.
All those guys you mentioned, like Jordan and Josh as well, like it feels like they're all having these little like spurts of impact that like impact a larger scope of the game. What's it like seeing them sort of like preach and live this mindset that you've talked about a lot with those guys this season, and then get the reward from it?
Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about at the beginning of using of depth. Everyone's got a different level of depth. We're using it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 11 guys played, and so the depth there to be able to go. The other night it was X, and tonight it was Ugo, and depth comes from just being able to impact the game in a positive way, whether it's for one possession. Amari goes in and fouls the guy, and that saves us a point. That matters. And finishing the game with Josh and Jordan, finishing lineups differently. So it's just a credit to the guys for having an understanding that anybody can impact a segment of the game. Every possession matters, and we just got to keep getting better at it.
Joe, the second quarter in New York, obviously the game got away from you there against them. First quarter felt like it was going in that direction a little bit, and you guys were able to get it back on track there. How are you guys in a better position now to stop something like that, adjust, like you mentioned, on the fly, compared to 2-3 games into the year?
Honestly, they're two completely different situations. In the first game, it was a 42-14 quarter, and we gave up Jordan Clarkson 3 threes. We gave up a transition layup, and none of it had to do with the game plan. Tonight, they had 32 in the first half, and Hart had 15 of those. And so he had 3 threes. He had a pull-up jump shot there. That's 11. And then we gave up 2 offensive rebound threes. Those are game plan execution. So it's two completely different games. The first game was we weren't disciplined in our execution. Tonight we were disciplined in our execution, and we were able to withstand. They're going to have moments like that because they're a great team. So, this was so much different because, and we just kept our poise through the execution of that. So, we just got to keep getting better.
From his offensive rebounds to just his hustle on defense, it seemed like Jordan exemplified the energy and the hustle that you guys played with tonight. Certainly not the only one, but what did you see from him in terms of just excelling in his role tonight?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the last 6 minutes of the game, he was just a great playmaker. He had the offensive rebounds, he made plays in the seam, he was great at the point of attack defensively. I think, they're just they're slowly chipping away at what it means to be really impactful in this league, and really what they do matters for our team, and having that role of kind of going out there every night and knowing they can change the game. And, like I said, everybody on the team has done that. Tonight I thought was the best example of multiple guys doing that. It came from Ugo, came from Jordan, came from Josh, even Sam defensively I thought was great. So they're just having an understanding how much they can impact the game and how important that is for us and how much it impacts winning. So they just got to keep doing it.
Joe, just from a resilient standpoint in the fourth quarter there, like obviously Bridges was red hot. They kept coming at you guys. You guys seemed to be able to regroup in those timeouts. Like, what did you kind of take from those?
Yeah, I mean, again, some of it was self-inflicted. I mean, we gave up almost 15 points on and ones, flagrant foul, so that's controllable. When stuff like that happens, it's we know we can just get back to the basics, get back to the discipline, defend without fouling, have an understanding of tendencies. So some of it was self-inflicted, but, the poise to be able to just work through that, and every game is different. So we knew we were going to have to score at a high rate because, how good these guys are. And I thought our offensive execution and poise kind of withstood some of our defensive mistakes that we made, but we kept playing.
Joe, it seemed like, especially Bridges, who's very demonstrative, he kept talking to your bench, and then it just seemed like they knew they were going to catch you. What satisfaction, if at all, is it to just say, okay, you're not this time, as opposed to last year? It just seemed like they knew they were going to run you down, and they almost did. But then for you guys to make the plays and hold them back, is that more?
Yeah, I didn't pay too much mind to that. There was too much crap going on in the fourth quarter to worry to know that. But they're a good team and they know it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. With having an understanding of that, to me, it was more about. I thought we did a great job, one, getting to the point where we were winning the game, and then two, being in position to win it. And so at that point, it became about what, we have to execute. We got to do X, Y, and Z. We have to do this. And it's just building a mindset towards understanding what type of team we are and what type of team we have to be. So I don't mind that stuff. I like it. It's part of the game. Keeps me going. And I thought the guys handled it well.
And is it kind of a different mentality not to try to match their shot making, but just do other things down the stretch, where maybe before guys were just trying to match 3 for 3 as opposed to just getting the offensive board?
I think tonight it became more about taking the shot they give us from an offensive execution standpoint. I thought they were switching for most of the game, and we made good plays, whether it was Jaylen making great plays or us over there, and then late they went to doubling, and so when you're doing that, you're going to have 2-on-1s, and we got some layups because of those 2-on-1s. They didn't help, and we got some kick-out shots, one by Derek, one by Josh. So I think it's really just about taking what the game gives you. We hadn't been, we haven't seen that coverage as much, and so the shot selection is always going to be different when you're seeing a coverage of a blitz at half court. And so I thought the guys did a great job of handling it.
Joe, you mentioned a couple weeks ago that one of the things that jumped out to you about this team was just the care factor. Do you feel like the depth and the different contributions from up and down the roster is kind of reflective of that?
Yeah, I think that's what you have to build. You have to have an understanding that, we need all you guys to win. At any point in time, you can have an impact to winning. I think that just kind of gives you a shared ownership, and it gives you a mindset that you have to have. And you just have to validate that. Like I said, I thought as well as all those guys played, understanding that Amari's ability to go in and save us a point matters just as much as getting a rebound at the end of the game. It's 1 point, and that makes a huge difference. So you just have to have an understanding of how all those things go into it, and it's a credit to the guys because they do, and we just got to keep getting better.